What's up, guys? This right here is the Jackery Explorer 5000 Plus. It's Jackery's biggest power station. This is their full home backup power station. So as you can see, in the name 5000, this has over 5,000 watts of battery capacity and it's expandable. But I want to give kind of a complete breakdown of this power station in case you're thinking about getting it. Talk about the features that it has. As you can see, it is solar compatible as well. So you can plug in solar panels like this, or your solar panels on your roof directly into this. You can plug this directly in your house. And I'll just go over this with you guys and give my thoughts and opinion at the end. So let's get into the video. All right, so just kind of walking around and showing you the power station itself. As you can see, you have pretty much all of your outputs right here on the front, at least your main, 120 volt outputs right here. Over here on the side, you have your charging ports. So you have your solar, you have your connection with your solar panels in your house as well. And then you have your AC output, which I'll go over that in a second here. And then on this side, you have some other ports as well. You have your expansion port right here, and then you have your 240 volt outputs right here. You do have a handle on the top, which is super nice. And then you do have this handle right here. This does have wheels, and so you can pretty easily move this around, which is super nice. That's one thing I like about this power station. It's really big, but because it has wheels, it doesn't make it that hard to move around. And then there actually is another handle on the bottom as well if you tilt it over to the side. And this kind of allows, if you have two people, you can carry it a little bit easier. One person on one side, one on the other side. And then you do have these caster wheels as well, 360-degree rolling wheels. And so if you want to just move it around, on one surface, it's pretty easy to move around. You can turn it as well because you have those caster wheels on the front and then the wheels on the back as well, which is super nice for moving it around. But that's pretty much all around the power station. Now we'll get into some of the features. All right, so now we'll get into the features. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a 5 kilowatt battery capacity power station. And over here on the front, you have a lot of different outputs, which is just really nice because it gives you the flexibility to be able to power a lot of different things. And going over these outputs right here, we have 4 AC outlets that has a continuous AC output up to 7,200 watts, which is just a ton of power. And you can actually even connect two 5,000 pluses together and you can get up to 14,000 continuous watts of battery capacity as well, which also allows you to just power a ton of different things. Like individual AC units, CPAP machines, refrigerators, essentially everything in your house, and you can connect them individually with these different outlets, or you can just plug the entire power station, into the panel of your house and just power your entire house, for multiple days, depending on what you're powering. But then going over here, we do have our DC power. So you do get two 100 watt USB-Cs and then you get two 18 watt USB-As as well, which is also just super nice. If you did have a power outage and you needed to charge your devices like your phone or tablet, computer, things like that, you have these to be able to do that, which is super nice. And you do have these buttons. You have the power button if you want to turn on the screen. You have your AC button over here. If the green light's on, that means everything's active. And then you have your USB button right here to turn on your DC power. And then you do have this 12 volt car charger as well right here. But on your screen, you have a screen just like the other Jackery power station. It's not crazy big, but it's nice. You have your output, your input showing on there, your battery level percentage, and everything will adjust. Once you plug something into it, it'll adjust the screen. It'll show you how long you have to run the devices that you're running, which is super nice that it adjusts just so you can see it on the screen. And Jackery does have a really nice app as well, and you can actually see everything on the app and turn on these, turn on and off these buttons as well. But here's where it gets interesting, and where I really like this power station is you do get these two outlets right here that are both 120 volts or 240 volts, depending on what you actually plug into it. And you can also adjust that in the app. But what's really nice about these is it just gives you the ability to plug in a lot higher powered devices like dryers. You can plug your RV directly into this as well if you have an adapter, 3-prong adapter. It's really nice because if you did have a power outage and you still needed to dry your clothes, or if the weather was bad, you could actually plug your dryer into this, which is pretty awesome. And then down here we have our AC reset buttons if you need to reset those. And then up here we do have our AC expansion port, which you can connect to the transfer switch that Jackery makes, and you can actually plug in two of these 5,000s into there and you can expand it up to 50 kilowatts, which is pretty amazing. Or if you only have one of the 5,000 plus, you can expand it up to 30 kilowatts. And I do really like the expandability with this just because, you can start off with just the 5,000 plus, and then if you need it, you can always add batteries later on with that transfer switch. But then going over here on the right side of the power station, we have our different inputs or charging ports. Underneath this flap, we have our solar charging. So you actually get high PV solar charging and low PV, which is super nice. You can get up to 4,000 watts of solar input on the high PV, which is going to be able to charge this power station about 1.7 hours, depending on your sun hours, which is just super nice for a power station this big. And then on the right side, we have our low PV charging, and you're going to get up to 1,200 watts of input with that. And with those, just portable solar panels that you can plug into there, you're going to be able to charge it in about 5 hours if you get up to that 1,200 watts of input, which is pretty amazing. And I do really like that it has both of those options, just because if you take this, with you on the go, camping or anything like that with an RV, and you have more portable solar panels, you can use the low PV. And then if you're in your house, you can use the high PV, use the panels directly in your house. Here's an example right here. As you can see these portable Jackery solar panels right here, you can just plug them in directly into that right there. and you can put up to 1200 watts of solar input depending on which portable solar panels you have. But it's really nice to be able to use that if you want to be more portable with your solar. And then if you have solar on your house, you can use the high PV solar as well. And then going on here, you also have our AC input, and you're going to be able to get up to 1800 watts of AC input, and you can charge it in about 3.5 hours with this port. And then below the AC input, we have our DC expansion port, and here's where you're actually going to plug in the extra, additional battery packs. And so on the other side, you plug it into the transfer switch, and then right here, you plug in the actual additional batteries, and that's going to allow you to expand it, up to 30 kilowatts, or if you have the other Jackery 5000 plus, up to 60 kilowatts. And I do want to mention as well, if you do have the transfer switch, you can also charge the power station up via the transfer switch, and you can get up to 4,000 watts of input through that, and that's going to be able to charge it in 1.7 hours as well. So same thing, with the high PV solar. So you can charge this thing up very fast, and I do like how there's just a lot of different options. If you want to be more portable, if you want to use solar, AC, there's a lot of different options to be able to charge this, very quickly, which is super nice in my opinion. But now that you guys can see some of the features that it has, I want to run a little test right here. I have this kettle plugged in right here. I'm going to turn on the AC power. This kettle uses about 1500 watts. So obviously, this power station could handle, more than that with the different outlets and things like that. But as you can see, the kettle is turned on, and it's using, as you can see, it updates on the screen, 1500 watts, and it's able to power this no problem at all. And the screen does update as well at only 29% battery. It's going to be able to run this for about an hour or so. You can see this in the app as well, but pretty cool to see that it has no problem running devices like this. You could plug in, even another one of these at the same time, and it would still be able to run it. So pretty amazing the output that this has. And it's pretty cool to see that you can plug individual items, or you can plug it, directly into your house and run your whole house, when the power goes out. But I hope that kind of help you guys see some of the feature that this thing has. I really like that Jackery is getting into more home backup power stations now. They used to just have portable options. Now they have these big home backup options, and it's really cool in my opinion. I think this, for the size of this thing, it's crazy how much power this actually has. And I really like the solar charging as well. It can get up to 4,000 watts of input, and you can expand as well to up to 60 kilowatts. I think it's pretty amazing. If you guys are looking for a bigger power station, as far as capacity goes and output goes, but still portable enough to where you can still take it with you, I think this is a great option, especially just because of the overall size of it. So if you guys are looking for a power station in that range, the 5,000 watt range, definitely recommend checking this one out.